Hello everyone, this is Teacher Jeremiah Ang again. Welcome back to the channel, and we are continuing on our series Essential Knowledge Before Entering Secondary 1. Right? Today, we are not going through a question. Okay? Today, we will be talking about something else. Do you also believe that your mistakes are just carelessness? Right? A lot of you think, right, whether you are a child or you're a parent, you think, always make careless mistakes. How can I not make so many careless mistakes? My child, everything careless. But this is a misconception, right? You think that all this is a reason of carelessness. Yes, carelessness is definitely plays a part, right? But it's not the main reason, right? The root cause of why you are getting these mistakes. Okay, and when it comes to carelessness, why is it so important? Because when we're entering secondary 1, WA1, right? Those of you who came for the seminar, you have learned that calculation is 90%, right? 90% of WA1. So it's so important. And for calculation, the moment you make one mistake, whole thing wrong, right? So we need to make sure that we don't make any mistakes, that we are very accurate when we do it. So how do we prevent these mistakes? And firstly, what are these mistakes actually, right? Let's dive into it. Let's look at one example. Okay, today, if you don't know how to do these questions, no worries, right? We still highlight the main part that people get wrong, right? All of you should be able to understand the parts that the student gets wrong. Okay, first, this is what I'm talking about, right? These are the complex calculations that you will enter and face in secondary 1, right? This one, we have fraction over a fraction, right? Inside the numerator, there's even more fractions. This is what you'll be doing. It's so complex. And the mistake the student made is not a very big mistake, right? What is the teacher circle here? Right? In the numerator, it's actually a negative 12 minus 28 over 12, right? This should be a negative. But, end up, this student has an extra negative sign. Then the whole question is wrong, right? Let's look at another one. Here, I think for those of you who don't know how to do this one, you can also solve this one, right? What's the mistake here? Think about it. Order of operations, right? You want to do this minus first before this division. Right? Because of this, you got wrong. Right? So the number one, the first mistake of carelessness is actually insufficient understanding of concepts, right? Why? First is superficial knowledge, right? In class, a lot of you make these mistakes. I tell you, why you make these mistakes? You say, teacher, actually I know, right? I explain in class. You go like, yeah, I know. Then I ask you why. You like, right? So that means they actually don't know, right? You listen in class, you understand the concepts, you think you know, but you actually don't really understand well, right? Another reason, you don't understand the signs, right? The number one mistake, right, when it comes to these mistakes in calculations is the negative sign. It's the biggest killer, right? If you don't understand why a negative number plus another negative number will give you a negative, right, or something else when you multiply, what happens? Then, of course, if you don't understand this, even though you think you know, right, you will get them wrong. And you keep focusing on, these are the rules, I must memorize. But can you imagine when you go into secondary school, there's so many rules to memorize, right? If you just remembering like you normally do you think you will really be able to memorize everything? No, right? But what and how can we stop this? Today, I will share with you, right? What must you start doing right now so that you can prevent these mistakes? Number one, first, you must, of course, understand these concepts, right? By understanding these concepts, other than just listening to your teacher in class, you must really think about it. Actually, if I have a negative 5, and then I'm adding another negative 3, I'm losing $5 and I'm losing another $3. Actually, end up, I'm still on a loss, right? And the amount I lose, I lose 5, and then I lose 3. I can just add up the values. I get a negative 8. Right? By understanding these concepts, you can see, am I really trying to regurgitate all of my memory? No. Right? I understand this concept first. I will remember them naturally. Okay? And number 2 is regular practice. Right? This is something that all of you hate doing, but you must do. You must do, because only through regular practice, right, can you keep practicing these concepts and testing if you truly understand them. Okay, so do regular practice. Let's move on to more examples. A lot of you look at this, you'll be like, this student got this wrong. It's a 3, now become a 2. Right? But don't laugh at this student, because you might very well make that mistake as well. Right? A lot of you in my classes, some of you are very, very, very wonderful students, excellent students, very smart, but you also make this mistake. Right? So these kind of mistakes can happen to everybody. Right? So please take note. And another one. Oh, this one may be for the previous reason as well. Right? That you don't understand the concepts. But also could be because you read wrongly. Right? So this 3 squared is actually a 9. Right? But negative 3 squared will be a negative 9. So maybe this student missed out this negative side, right? Let's think that he did it this way. Oh, so all these mistakes are actually because of what? Just because you read and copy wrongly, right? So number 2 is bad reading habits. Why? First, you miss out the negative sides. A lot of you will make this mistake. Just now, the student also made this mistake, right? You miss out the negative sign, so you got the question wrong. The moment you have one negative sign missing, the whole thing is wrong. Right? And it's very easy to miss out because it's just a line, right? So you must make sure that you don't miss and you read it very carefully. Rex, you read numbers incorrectly, right? You say this number is a 3, you write that as a 2, then you will make the mistake. So how do you prevent it? What must you start doing? First, you can mark key symbols. Right? I mentioned the negative signs, a lot of you get wrong. Some things that a lot of students will get wrong is what happens when I have a 5 and I minus a negative 3. Right? You will learn that this is actually, when I minus a negative 3, is same as I add a 3. Okay? So, over here, if you can make these mistakes, make sure you mark it very clearly. Oh, this one, I need to take note. I don't make this mistake, right? Mark a symbol so that you don't make it and you make sure you check. Next, use underlining to show your calculation steps. What do I mean by this? Let's look at an example. Oh, right, over here, you notice it's a long question, so you must use order of operations, right? So at every single step, order of operations, what's the first step? You can underline first. Underline first. Then, when you go on to the next step, the next one you need to do, then you can underline next, right? So keep doing this, and then you will ensure that you won't read it wrongly, right? You won't read it wrongly, and you do the steps correctly, okay? Next, let's look at another example. Okay, this one, hard question. It involves some absolute signs, some power that some of you might not have learned. Okay, those of you who came for ordinary class, think you can do it. But for those of you who have not, no worries. Let's look at it. Just look at the last line over here. Okay, negative 1 minus 1 over 8. Oh, what a careless mistake, right? But what type of careless mistake is it? Think about it. And just because of the one mistake, the whole question is wrong. What a pity, right? What a pity. So this mistake is lack of checking, right? Lack of checking. Why is it lack of checking? I wrote this big for everyone because all of you don't like to check. All of you are lazy. Please, as your teacher, for those of you who come to holiday class, please don't be lazy. Check your work, even if you're not my student, for your own sake, right? For everybody in this world, please don't be lazy. Check your work, okay? Because you can do it, but you make this careless mistake, you don't check, then such a waste, right? So please check, okay? So what must you start doing? Of course, you must check, right? But how do you check? First, you can do a quick review, right? When you move on to the next step, right? Check the previous step. Oh, is this what I have? Minus 5, minus 3. Then it becomes a negative 8. Okay, looks like it's correct. Do a quick review, right? And after you're done with the question, you can verify using reverse calculations. You can work backwards, use reverse calculations to see if it's actually correct, right? This way is to check. Not just look at the answer, looks correct, okay, I think I checked. Right? A lot of you do this, don't do this. Make sure you check thoroughly. Okay? Next. This one. Right? Even if you don't know how to do the top, you notice the mistake here. The student missed out the brackets. Right? Minus 3 times negative 15 plus 15. There should be another set of square brackets here. Because you don't put the brackets, then you go and calculate wrongly. Alright, you go and calculate wrongly. So make sure you put the brackets. Okay? So what must you start doing? Use proper formatting. Alright, if there's brackets, you must include them. And focus on clarity. Make sure your handwriting, right, when you're writing, your format is legible. Okay, we'll get more into that later, but make sure that everything is clear so you don't miss out, right? The brackets you need to put, the negative signs you need to write clearly. Okay, another type of mistake. Oh, this one you can see over here. It's already starting to get a bit confusing, right? This is actually an equals and then a negative sign, but actually the next line the student still writes a negative, but the next one. This is actually equals negative sign, but he read wrongly and end up at the end, no more negative. Then the whole answer is wrong, right? Another one, this one, answer is a 9. You write that this looks like an A, right? So all of these are a result of poor handwriting. And another one for your, right? S, and then there's a 5. S becomes a 5, right? 0 becomes a 6. All of these are bad handwriting habits, bad writing habits. So what must you start doing now to prevent it? Number 1, have a clear differentiation between numbers and letters, right? There's a reason why they are different. The number 5 is pointy at this side, right? The corner is pointed. The S is a full curve, no points, right? Also, when you have negative signs, right, write them clearly. Don't be like the student, write already, become the negative sign become like that. Or some of you, a lot of you in my holiday class, right, you write a triple sign like this. Are you writing sun in Chinese? No, right, equals negative sign. Make sure you have some space, right, the formatting, remember, write it separately. Okay, next, align your calculations horizontally, right, some of you, right, goes up, then end up you becoming Spider-Man, swing the web. Then you don't even know where you're writing, right? Make sure it's aligned horizontally. And lastly, align your equal signs. Right? You can imagine for any question, it is third, right? Then I say it's equals to third, and then equals to third. Oh, you realize, first, when I align it, right, it's very easy for me to write the next step. Right? And also, it's very easy for me to go back and check. Right? I can check, see where I went wrong. Right? Check and see where I went wrong. Okay? So, align your equal signs. Let's move on. Right? So, how do we make zero calculation mistakes and careless mistakes when we go into secondary school? Right? All of you watch this video, you think, okay, teacher tell me already, I won't make these mistakes anymore. Can. And then, no, you will go on to make a lot of mistakes. You're making the same mistake as we went through earlier. Is you think the teacher went through, you think you listened, then you know already. No, you don't truly know. So what must you do? Starting today, starting now, you must identify your mistakes. Right? Go look for your past worksheets. See where you went wrong. What type of mistakes out of the 5 that we covered today have you made wrong? And follow the instructions. Start solving them now, right now. Do it now because you don't want to drag on. This is a habit, right? Habits are hard to change. So hard to change, right? If you don't start now, then you continue. Then at the end, when you want to remove this bad habit, it becomes very, very, very hard. Right? So students, please start now. Okay? For your own sake. Right? Imagine if you start doing this now, calculation is 90%. Right? If you don't make any more careless mistakes, zero careless mistakes, you already have 90% of scores of whole WA1. Wow, isn't that wonderful? Okay, so start doing now. Okay, that's all for today. If you haven't joined our WhatsApp study group, join over here at this link now. Right? Recently, the PSLE results have just been announced. A lot of you parents and students are asking, is this school good? Is that school good? Any advice here? Right? A lot of our teachers are answering and providing some advice, along with all the other parents sharing a lot of very useful information. Okay, so join in now. And here's my contact details. If you want to ask me, right, if you don't know what type of mistake you're making, what type of careless mistake you're making, you can send me a photo. Right? If you're a student, if you're parents, I can help you take a look and help you see what your child or what you have to change in order to not make these careless mistakes anymore. Okay? And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe down below for more learning and information videos. Okay? Not just question videos. Today we even share these kinds of helpful tips. Right? So subscribe down. We release a lot of very useful information. Okay? If not, see you next time. Bye bye.